Well, hello, this is Beate Gillette, and I am the mentor for creative entrepreneurs. And if you're receiving this, then you either have not had a chance to attend our session today live, or you tried to attend the session live and you saw my absolute epic fail on technology. I was sitting here sweating blood. I mean, I was so angry. I was like crying because I could not get the technology to work. And so finally, I had to just say, I'm going to have to stop this. I'm going to record it. I'm going to send it out to you, and I am going to be making it up to you. So again, forgive me for failing this morning. It was really the first time ever that I've been in an event where I could not deliver what I had promised I was going to do. So I'm doing my very best. And again, thank you for being patient with me. So let's go and start our presentation right now. And let me take you through what I want to train you on today. So first of all, welcome. Now that I take a deep breath, you have come to the right place. So if you are looking for what I call German engineered and battle tested ideas on how to find your best fit customer, how to have a conversation without sounding like you're selling or trying too hard, and how to talk about what you do without that sort of awkward snake oil salesman convincing methodology, I suppose, and how you can stop driving away your clients, because I bet there's a few things that you guys do that really drive your clients away. And so that's what we're going to be covering here today. So my promise to you today is that I will show you what's possible for you. So I want you to imagine for a moment that you have animated, happy prospects, that there are no more of these strange, awkward moments when you're like trying to find something to talk about, like when you pick up the telephone and you say, hi, did you get my promotion? Did you get my email? Did you get my proposal? And the client clearly doesn't remember. And now you're trying to figure out what to say that doesn't put them on the spot or make them, but at the same time, you need to follow up. So how do you do that? And I want you to imagine that there is a way for you to achieve six-figure incomes and stop failing at sales. And I've been doing this again and again and again with a lot of my clients who are, some of them are actually pushing seven figures. But there really is a methodology behind what I do, and I will teach you that. And understand why it is so crucial to understand your best fit customer, and why you don't want to work for everybody. Not everybody is your customer. Stop wasting time on tire kickers. There are some people that will never buy. So I'm going to show you today what you need to do instead. And when you focus on your best fit customer, you are able to close a lot more deals. And there will be an offer, of course. I'm going to just put this out ahead of time. For those of you who are ready to take it further, there's only this much I can offer you right now because we have a limited time. I said I was going to keep this to 45 minutes. So I, can only do this much. So there will be more for those of you who are ready to dive deeper into this and make this happen on a much larger scale. All right. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself, and I'm going to keep this very short and brief, just so to give you a couple of outlines of why I, get to talk about these kinds of things. So I am a serial entrepreneur. I overcame what I called a decade of bad luck. Those of you who have heard me speak before or have been to my trainings, you know my story. I come from the school of hard knocks. I worked incredibly hard to get here. This is my daughter. This is a beautiful picture taken by one of my clients and a good friend, Dorit Thies. And I have founded an organization called the Women's Code. I'm an author of a book called Happy Woman, Happy World. And it really didn't come together for me. Like I didn't get out from underneath my $135,000 of debt after I lost half of my business in September 11th and another half of my business during an employee getting too close to a key vendor and them, virtually destroying my business by, taking my business and making it their own business just without me. So I was really, really deep in debt. My father passed away right there when all of this happened. I was served the notice literally where I was standing at the grave in Germany. And then I had to figure out, how am I going to come back from all this disaster and this negativity, and how do I overcome $135,000 in debt? I had a great idea for a business, which was a stock syndication photography that was specialized in architecture, interior, living, well, everything around the home, and also celebrity imagery. And so what's relevant about the story I'm telling you today is that it really did not come together for me until I figured out who my best fit client was. And that absolutely changed everything, because once I knew who was most likely to buy from me, it was almost like, the floodgates opened, and people, my clients, my potential clients, suddenly called me to figure out and ask me if I had something else to sell for them. So that's what we're going to be going through today. I want you to think about what you need to do to get to sort of that same effect. Who is that client of yours that has that same feeling? So I'm going to play a video for you right now, and this is a client of mine by the name of Lauren Messiah, and I want you to hear her story.
It's female clients that work in entertainment, that are freelancers, entrepreneurs, and they've really lost themselves through working so hard in their careers, on them, not on themselves, but on their families, on everyone else around them but themselves. So I work with them to bring what's on the inside out by giving my clients style. I don't push trends on them. I'm really giving them a customized style for themselves. So, okay. So I'm just finishing my VIP day, which was amazing, completely transformative. I came in really lost. I have multiple businesses, and I felt a disconnect, and I felt confused. I knew something was in me, and I didn't know where to go. And just one day of being here, which went by so fast, but I feel so clear. Like, I get it. It was an experience that was just nuts. The stuff that was coming out on paper and coming out of my mouth, and I'm completely blown away, and I can't wait to work and make this into action. It's crazy.
What would you tell somebody who's thinking about taking a VIP day?
If someone's thinking about taking a VIP day, don't hesitate. From the first phone call that I had to figure out if this was for me, I knew it was for me, and something tells me you'll have the same feeling, and just act on it. Don't wait 2 seconds. You have to do it, because it changes you so much. Even before I walked in the door, I already knew that something was changing, and I told everyone about it. You need to do this, because it's a game changer.
All right, so this is my wonderful Lauren, and the reason I play this video for you, and not to worry, I'm not offering any VIP days, but she was part of this program of which I'm teaching you. I'm showing you, sort of what we trained, and you see this unbelievable transformation, and I just wanted to share that with you. All right, so let's dive in. So today we are going to cover, you can't make money unless you know who your buyer is, because the world is not your customer. You want to identify who that best fit ideal customer is, and it really, really matters that you find that best fit, because it really helps you to hone in to selling more. And you can't sell anything unless you know what motivates them to buy. So moving right on. So here is the outline of the system that I've created when I say the German engineered system. So building a business has 5 modules, if you so want to, and each of these modules has 5 different individual steps. So we are going into the first module and we are going into the second step. And I'm going to show you right now what the steps in this module are. So the first is the uncovery session, which is sort of the mission, the vision statement. And the second is to craft the business that supports you, how you clearly and easily can communicate what you do for your clients. That's really crucial element. But what we're talking about today is how to create that airtight customer avatar. So you know that this is something that I'm really teaching and doing day in, day out, and which creates amazing results. So you want to know which the best fit clients are that you need to focus on for this rapid business growth. And then step 4 is the 5-point storytelling method, which really helps you to pull in why what you do matters to your buyers. And then finally, you do walk away when all 5 of these steps are completed with a one-day business plan. A customer avatar, a customer profile, is also called an avatar, and it identifies the different types of customers that you have. And there are elements that go into it that's like demographics, age, gender, race. It also has something to do with the income level because it depends on how much disposable income you have on what you can afford or not afford. Then there are emotional needs that need to be paid attention to for your customers, like relationships, love, care, connection, because different things are important for different people. And then, of course, there's physical ones like cars, homes, status symbols, and then what people do in their free time, hobbies, and sports. So when you know what your customer likes, then it's much easier for you to get the clues of where he or she hangs out, which is important when you want to sell to them, because you are crawling sort of into their life, into their heads, engaging in a portion of their thinking that already, is taking place. So most of the time, a lot of you are talking to your clients, but they're not engaging in that really deep conversation. So I want you to just pause for a second and really think about your clients. What do they like? What do they worry about specifically? And I'll give you an example. So if a mom who needs to pick up her kids at 4:55, she has different requirements, different needs than a surfer who is a single guy who can hang out with you for happy hour. So your approach on how you talk to them is very, very different. We put a branding together for one of my clients where we guaranteed that they were going to be out by just in time for happy hour. And we gave the guarantee because we knew that he was working with a lot of people that had to be out at a certain time to, engage in other activities, like family events or sports or that kind of thing. So it was really important for his clients to do that. So it's part of how you talk to your clients is the tone, the message. And this is really sort of what's going on inside their head. So that's what I'm talking about when I say, let's enter this conversation. You can have more than one avatar, but here's the thing. You shouldn't pursue all of your customer types because there is usually one of the avatars that we identify that's your sweet spot. And in that sweet spot, that's where the money is, that's where the sale is the closest, and that's where you focus on first. It doesn't mean that you're not going to sell to everybody else, but it just means that this particular one client of yours is your ideal customer. Okay. So again, I may have a customer who is a woman, a working mother of 2 who is 32 years old. I may have a distinguished gentleman as a client who is in his 50s. I may have a young professional male who is my client who might be 28 years old. So just by that alone, the language has to be different for each one of those clients, which is why it's important that you separate and segregate your lists or your customer types so that when you do talk to them, that you give them in their language exactly what it is that bothers them. I know it's a lot more work than what you're doing right now, but what you're doing right now is probably just coming up with this one size fits all language that just doesn't bring it home to your client on why they should hire you. And that's what happens so many times, that a lot of creative entrepreneurs have this vague language that just talks about them, but it doesn't show the client on how it solves their problem. So when we are looking at this slide, this is what I call flipping your features. So this is another one of the things that we do when I work one-on-one with clients. And this takes a little bit of deep diving. So I'm just going to outline this for you. Again, we have only so much time, but I'm going to give you the concept so you understand what I mean by that. So the problem that clients have is always the same. They need to be relevant. They need to stand out from the competition. They need to provide solutions. They want to be the authority, and they want to support their customers by providing an excellent service. In short, they want to sell more. The solution of their problem is really what you should be talking to, because it is it demonstrates that you know about who their client is, who they're trying to appeal to, what their problem is that they wanted to try to solve. That's what you talk about. And you provide that uniqueness that just adds that little bit extra that enhances their product and service, and it supports their the authority, and it understands their likes and dislikes, and it makes them look good. So all of what we are offering is just geared toward one and one thing only. What do you need? What does my client need to take my stuff and look better? And all of this amounts to one and one thing only, which means they should be hiring you. So here is another one of those phenomenal testimonials that I have received from a woman who runs a online business that provides quotes for for inspiration. And she is an Indian woman who was in an arranged marriage and was at the brink of suicide. So she had this idea, she read this one quote, and just this one quote alone saved her life. So she then wanted to bring this message that sometimes one sentence, one idea, one quote is enough to make you survive. So she was here in July 2015, and in October she sends me this. So literally within months after we worked together, she says to me, I have achieved my goal of making 6 figures through my business craftstreetdesign.com. Thank you for helping me get there. You've given me the confidence that I can do this. In the VIP session, you laid out strategy, helped me find my authentic story, and strengthen my beliefs. You are truly an inspiration. I appreciate everything you have done for me. So this is the stuff, and everybody who knows me knows this, I thrive on thank you notes. So because this is my fuel, this is what makes my heart pump, is when I hear on how fabulous your stuff is. And then here is another one, and I thought this was pretty funny. This was Harry, who is a former photographer who was in one of my courses. And so he just says, I'm ignoring your emails now that are designed to get people to finally getting off their story behind and actually do something that will change their lives. Well, I am not one of those anymore, thanks to you, Harry. So Harry does now, and this was what came out in our session, that he does these beautiful Leica camera straps, and they're all handmade. And suddenly he has a backlog of, I think 8 weeks for these straps. He's absolutely phenomenally doing well right now. And I want to share this because, again, it's like, would this work for you? Yes, it does work for you. And I'm going to take you through 3 more. And here is Lane Coder. And if you're looking right now, there's a big Apple campaign with user-generated content. And he is one of the photographers. And here he is thanking me for doing my part in helping him get the Apple campaign. truly, it really wasn't me who got the campaign. It's his work who got the campaign. But he's just such a phenomenal, wonderful person and so enthusiastic. So I really appreciate this reaching out. Here's another one from Davey Wilson, which I think is very relevant for you because he talked about, he just took this one piece of how to enter this conversation that's in a customer's head and to talk about solving their problems. And he says, it's working exactly how you said it. I became the official photographer for a major sports organization with a phone call without the director even seeing my work. He did this by only entering the conversation that's already going on inside their head. So if you think that it's just your work, then you're wrong. And I'm going to tell you in a minute why. And here is Heather Conley. I call her my firecracker. She just did the whole thing in a year. She is now closing double-digit proposals, and she's up against the number one established photographer for architecture and landscape in her area. And she's actually bringing me up to the University of Hartford, where I am going to be teaching this particular course in depth. And I'm going to tell you how all of that's going to work again in just one moment. So the teaching, what I can do, what I can help you with is truly to take this creative entrepreneur heart of yours and figure out on how to get away from that, hate of selling. I mean, who loves selling, right? Very few people do. But, I can help you. If you hate selling, if you do feel awkward throughout those cold calls and the calls only last like 60 seconds, and you don't know how to get that conversation started, and others get the job and they are not even as good as you are. If you have already done this, like you try to get people on the phone, you can't even figure out what you're doing wrong, but you know what you're doing professionally, and you're uncomfortable and still awkward no matter how hard you try. But clients don't call you back. They're ignoring you. And you target all kinds of clients, but nothing really sticks. Then, you need to figure this out. Because if you don't figure this out, you may have, like some of you have told me, even thought about getting a job, a real job, which would be devastating. A lot of you have confidence issues now, and your self-esteem has completely taken a dive because how long can you keep up this good face if you don't have the results to prove it? You may even struggle to pay your bills and burn through your savings. And it has a tremendous stress on personal relationships. I always say the bohemian lifestyle only looks good on the outside, and you're just not closing enough sales. So my question to you is, the pressure is probably very high. So how high is it for you? Are you at an 8, a 9, or even a 10? So the offer I was talking about earlier, and you see just how quickly we fly through time. So I want to do this with you. I want to take you much, much deeper and do this with you and take you by the hand and step by step through what you need to do to find your best fit customer. I want you to identify the customers you should go after who are most likely to buy from you. And I want you to also get very clear about which customers you need to ignore because they are just taking your time. I mean, I bet you know exactly who I mean. It's always the same kind of thing. And then they want the proposal and you spend all this time on it. And then in the end, they thank you and then they take your proposal to the competitor. And then they squeeze the other guy to give it to them just a little bit cheaper, which is completely wrong and very unethical. But, you just don't even want to attract that kind of person anymore. And I can tell you how to do that. Okay. So the other thing you want to stop is you don't want to drive away prospects. So I had this thing where I was looking for a videographer, and boy, this guy was just hounding me to the point where I couldn't hire him because the guy was just terrorizing me with his follow-up. And I know why he's doing it, and I know why he's eager, and he thinks he's, on top of things, but he really just pushed me away. So we want to avoid that. And then there's this one thing that clients don't care about at all. And I bet you do that over and over and over again. And this could be the one thing that keeps them away from hiring you. And of course, there's always going to be a few tricks that come up in a session on what you need to do to grow faster and a better business. And what it is a 2-hour online course with an interactive handout. So the value of knowing how to sell to a client is the rocket launch investment will be $397. So imagine, you know exactly who to sell to. You're no longer wasting your time. But because this is a pre-sale, I am flying to the University of Hartford, where I'm actually teaching this course. It's the first time I'm doing it. So there's going to be a videographer. We are going to film it, and we're going to turn it into a product. So for the next 96 hours until I'm on a plane on Monday, and only for the first 50 people, I am giving this away for $97. So because I had this epic fail, I'm going to be adding a special training. And believe me, by that time, I'm going to have spoken to the Webinar Jam people as to what the heck was going on so that I can accommodate you and actually do this training as I'm promising. And I'm going to add another 1 hour where I will take you, where we'll do it just free flow, sort of a Q&A kind of thing, because once you've been through the course and you've done that flip your features exercise, I bet you're going to have some questions to that and how to position that. So I'm going to give you an example on the flip your features portion, okay? So for example, Heather Conley, who we were just talking about, she is an architecture and interior photographer, right? So when she goes out, she could say, I'm an architectural interior photographer. That puts her in the same bucket as everybody else. Then what the client does, they compare dollar to dollar, right? Architectural photographer compared to architectural photographer. But what Heather did, Heather went to the client and said, using the techniques I am teaching you, and said, what can I do to make your life easier? How can I not be a pest? What do you need from me to make your life smooth and easy? And the client says, tell me when these design competitions are, or remind me, because that's when I need photography for these design competitions, because that's giving us the recognition, that's helping us find our clients. So now what Heather is doing is she's creating a whole new sort of follow-up process. So now she's not calling her clients and saying, I'm a photographer, do you have a job? But she's going and she's saying, hey, here is the next contest. And are you ready for it? As you requested, I'm reminding you. So now she's entering this conversation I was talking about in their head. So when you do this class or this training course with me, for $97 instead of $397, once it's fully launched, it's going to launch April 15th. So then you're going to want to know some of these fine-tuning tweaks of how you can do it. And for you, because you were so patient with me this morning, I will do that for you. We'll spend an hour together, and I'll go through some of your examples to help you really nail that. Yeah, is that cool? I hope you guys are going to be okay with that. So let me just go over a couple of reasons of why you want to do that. Is you're here. What you know brought you here. You're here for a reason. And you either have to invest time or money. There just is no other way. You're either going to invest time to learn it, or you're going to invest money and buy a program, hire a coach, or do something. It's like when you go in you can work out by yourself, but if you really want to get the body you like, you need to work with a trainer who tells you exactly what muscles to train and establish a training program, and then you're back out on your own and you can follow the guidance. So get the guidance. I guarantee my work, always have. I don't think in all the time I've done this on any of my online programs, there's ever been anybody who's returned it. But I'm telling you, if you think that I'm full of it, it doesn't deliver what I promised, then by all means call me. I give you your money back, no questions asked. I am real. Things go wrong in my life as well, as you unfortunately seen this morning. And then my question to you truly is, how much longer do you want to wait for your ship to come in? You are here for a reason, and let's celebrate that. You're listening to this because something about you wants to find that right customer. So please join me for this 2-hour online course that will be delivered by April 15th. So go to this link now, creativeentrepreneur.training, click on the offer and say yes. And then I will see you on April 15th. I'm going to follow up with you, let you know exactly when the launch is. And then all you have to do is say yes to the offer now for $97 instead of $397. The price will never be this low. Once I'm going on this plane on Monday, this price goes with me because clearly it is so much cheaper. This is just a pre-event, pre-sale special. And now I've added to that another hour training where you can ask me your specific question. All right. I thank you very much for your patience and your time. There are a million ways to be successful. You only need to find one yours. Thank you for your time and goodbye.